Crawl spaces. Spooky. Not really. But you do learn a lot about a house in a crawl space. Everything from plumbing, electrical, heating systems, insulation, maybe some moisture issues, maybe a couple surprises. Today we're going to learn a little bit about the basics. Here we go. All right, so we start with the notorious Poly B plumbing, which can be recognized as it is dark gray compared to PEX, which is typically white or another color, and which is the modern plumbing that's used in houses built today. The Poly B plumbing's in houses from about 1985 to 1993, 94. Problem with it is that it's prone to leaking. This one does have copper crimps, which is good. That's what you want to see, but it is still an issue. Insurance companies are shying away from it more and more every year. There are still some companies that will insure it without a premium, but it also becomes an issue on resale, and during negotiations at a home inspection, you can get hammered on it. So best to replace it if you can, although replacing it is expensive, especially if you need to cut through drywall to get to a second floor. Replacing it here in a crawl space, not too hard. But when you get upstairs, going through walls, that's when the price goes up. So something to be aware of if you're looking to buy a house and you've got this gray plumbing, or if you already have a house and you're looking to sell it, just be aware that this is going to come up. All right, do you know what this is? This is a sump pump. Now, the job of a sump pump is to catch groundwater as it rises up to the slab and then pump that water up and out. You can see it's just firing right now. Pretty quiet because there's not a lot of water in there right now. It's summertime. So I'm sure in December, this is firing quite a bit. They can sound a little bit louder than that, like a flushing toilet. You can see they've insulated it. So I've just pulled this back. Something to be aware of. You can insulate them to dampen that sound significantly. Now, they're put in for a reason. This one, installed after the house was built. So they must have had a moisture issue here at some point. So if you see this setup, you want to have a good look around, make sure that it has solved the moisture issues that it was originally installed for. But yeah, this one done by Island Basement Systems, looks professional. Some of the older ones, not great. You probably want to replace those and also have a really good look around. This one's got a battery backup, which is great for storms. You want to check on them through the winter, make sure they're working, of course. But if it's a good setup and it's working through the season, then you're not going to have any issues. So crawl spaces typically come in two categories, either cold, uninsulated space or warm, passively heated space. Older houses up until about the mid-80s would insulate the floor and not the perimeter foundation, making this a cold space. They would be vented, not a great space that you want to hang out in. These days, every modern house is built with styrofoam insulation around the perimeter and not insulated on the floor, making this a passively heated space, which keeps the area generally pretty dry. This one also has a concrete skim coat, which is great for storage, easy access down here. The older houses, a lot of them were built with just dirt, some gravel, and if you're lucky, a layer of poly as a moisture barrier, which can be effective and not too scary, but some of those crawl spaces have issues. Definitely a superior way to build is with this being a heated space. And the spookiest thing of all to talk about is rodents. There's really no excuse to have mice or rats in your crawl space. It's pretty easy to deal with. Usually it's an access issue. It's not trying to kill off all the ones that are down there and they're just going to keep coming back if there's an access. A lot of houses are built with these plastic vents, which are pretty much garbage. If you have those, please replace them with metal ones. They're going to fare so much better. After a few years, a rat will just chew a hole in that. There's your access point. Other access points can be where like plumbing penetrates through foundation or whatnot to get outside. Maybe a heat pump's been installed and now there's an area around the pipe coming in, that type of thing. Go down into your crawl space, check for access points. It's a lot easier if you have a crawl space that's heated, that's like this, as opposed to one that's got this much access. That's a whole other story. I wish you luck with those. It is a problem that can be dealt with. It's not the end of the world. It kind of sucks and it's pretty gross. So if you've got a crawl space story that you'd like to share, or if you have tips for other people watching this video, or if you just have a question for me, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll talk to you soon.